Following on from painting the silent snowy morning, I wanted to paint a picture of fir trees on a snowy but sunny morning using a couple of different techniques. I'll be using 4 colours: Ultramarine Blue, Payne's Grey, Raw Sienna, Hooker's Green Dark, plus a couple of green watercolour pencils. One of which is a luminance pencil calling itself Dark English Green, and the other one is Sage Green. I'm using my usual 425 GSM glued watercolour paper pad. The pencil lines you can see are where I've drawn around a piece of card that is about 7 by 5 inches to get the size I want. And I have my usual scrap paper ready for trying out colours before I put them on the actual painting. I'm painting directly onto dry paper rather than wetting it first. Ultramarine Blue is first across the top, keeping it bright to suggest a sky untroubled by clouds. Then into the wet blue I push some raw sienna so they mix where they meet. Then a brush with clean water to soften the bottom of the sky. Plus a little bit of messing about to make the sky the shape I wanted. I bring clear water down the paper. All the time I'm painting, I'm also visualising the final picture I'm heading towards. So I come in with raw sienna for the sun on the snow. I go back to put in more ultramarine at the top while the underlying paint is still damp because I want the sky to look bluer further up. With ultramarine mixed with Payne's Grey, I brush in distant hills. They are darker than I would usually paint distant hills because I want the end result to be that it looks darker over there and lighter and sunnier here in the foreground. And again with clean water to prevent hard lines. Using a mix of more Payne's Grey, I brush in where I know I will need some shadow on the snow, blending it in with clean water. Once the paper is dry, I realise I need a couple of gaps in the paint to suggest snow on branches when I put the trees in. With a small flat damp brush, I take out some colour by loosening the paint on the paper and then picking it up. Using the green watercolour pencils, the dark green and sage green, I scribble in 2 fir trees in the way we've always drawn them, literally scribbling back and forth to suggest branches. 2 different colours immediately give texture and different impressions of light. I went over the trees with clean water to activate the pencil's paint. And then using the small flat brush with some Hooker's Green Dark on it to provide more liquid for the pencil paint, and also another shade of green. Gaps are left in the paint to suggest snow on the branches. The shadow put in earlier is for these 2 trees. Using my hake backwards, flicking upwards, I put in some banks of grasses over there and some here and their shadows. Using a rigger, I flick in a bare branched tree. If you judder the brush as you're laying down the paint, you get those knobbly branches. Also using the rigger, I flick in some longer grasses in the foreground and suggest some birds flying off. They are only suggested rather than painted because they're far away. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. There will be more how to paint videos on the way.